Hey, we'll get started in a minute. Okay, we'll get started in a minute. This is Elliot Wave Sage, guys. Let's do a quick live stream. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education, entertainment purposes only. So I already gave a market update. I posted that. I won't rehash the market. I'll just kind of jump into your questions and we'll go from there, and we'll see what we've got. So Bitcoin, yeah. So I've been trying to avoid trying to figure out what Bitcoin's doing. It's not really behaving very clearly, but let's just kind of take a step back. I think when you start getting mixed signals on what's going on, I think it's best to just kind of remove all drawings and just kind of take a big step back and take a look at what we have going on Bitcoin here. So let's start with the monthly. Let's just take a look at the monthly and where we're at with the monthly here. So the monthly stochastic, as you could see, we raised divergence at this low. That's good. And, it's a 3-swing move, so it meets all the criteria. What I don't like about the monthly is the stochastic is reset to the upside. Okay, every time we've had that, we've had a drop, right? You see that here back in July. We capitulated March 20 before we had the big run right here. Now this obviously defied gravity. This was April 16 coming into a big bull market advance. We don't really have that with the stock market, but could we have that with Bitcoin? That's a wave 3 chart. And if this is going to move to new all-time highs, this would be a wave 3 in the grand super cycle, which means the move will be even more explosive than 2017, the move to the upside. So we have here the cycle has clearly broke here, and if we look here, you can't really infer much. So let's go to the weekly here. So the weekly stochastic, it's got some more upside. It looks like it's broken out of a downtrend here, like that. Okay. The RSI, same thing. It looks like the weekly cycle has broken higher here. So the weekly cycle is bullish. So what does that mean? It means, for me, pullbacks are by the dip. Longer term, weekly cycle's up, okay, but the monthly cycle isn't. Now let's take a look at the daily cycle. Now the daily cycle here, let's line it up with the price first. Here's the peak RSI. We came up. We're here. We clearly have a new cycle higher here. So this cycle, this daily cycle, is ready to reset down, and it's here. So the weekly cycle's turning up. The monthly cycle just needs a correction, and the daily cycle needs a correction. So what I suspect will happen is we'll get a pullback in these stochastics, like I showed you back into like we did before we had the run in 2020. So just looking at the swings, I do think we have one more swing low down, at least. But I think it's more likely that the low will hold. This low is going to hold, 15.5. So I do think we'll get a swing down that I have here. So that's what I think. So this is my forecast on Bitcoin right now. Is a move down. We'll forecast this as a low for now. Supported by the weekly cycle, which means we should at least get one more swing higher before the weekly gets overbought. But I think right now, this is some kind of 5-wave move up. We'll just have to call it what it is. And then this is just a correction that needs to play out. Just a little more time. Just needs a little more time. So that's how I'd look at it. And then out. We should get at least one more. And that's because of the weekly breakout of the cycle. Now, if things can change, circumstances can change. So you'll have to do what's best for you. But this is kind of what I'm thinking. I still think we get this pullback here. Now, could the pullback not break 24.8? It's possible, as long as the stochastics can reset on the daily time frame. And as long as the daily can reset and the monthly can at least get a good drop like we did here. We don't have to go all the way down, but we need a little bit more breathing room. And we want the RSI to stay above 39.91 as this monthly pulls back a little more. So a lot has to happen in Bitcoin to give me the setup that I like to put my capital at risk. Right now I'm on the sidelines. So that's how I look at it. Now, it could just continue to chop around in here, and this is just a connector wave, so it can go sideways. It could do so many things. So that's why I just don't like trading it. There's other things to trade right now. But do what's best for you. But this is what I think is my view here in A, B, 1, 2, 3 connector. Let's just take a look here at this wave. Peak, and we actually peaked out here. Bottom connector. So yeah, it was probably something like this. Something like that. But anyway, we'll find out. We'll see what happens. We'll know soon enough. And it makes sense if the market is going to melt down soon. And there's your top. Right? And there's your peak. And there's your peak. So it's just what it seems like is going to happen. Now, if we do come down and take out 18.2, take out 15.5, then it's something else. And then actually that would erase the divergence we saw in the correction, which means this was just a massive connector for the entire down move. And that would be super bearish for the entire crypto complex, because then this would be just a 5-wave move and an A, B, and then C. And it probably will go back and tag this kind of historical trend line wherever this ends up. Here, 8,000. So, like I said, I'm not a fortune teller. I just don't like trading it right now. So I spend a lot of time on Bitcoin because I know everyone likes to trade it. So that's kind of how I look at it right now. I wouldn't short it, I wouldn't long it. I just kind of watch on the sidelines and wait for a setup. Wait for someone to make a move and react versus guessing what the move is going to be. All right, Tesla. Let's go into Tesla. Now I gave my update on Tesla in my market update. And let's take a look at the big picture. Let's see if let's see how much technical damage was done today on the higher time frames, like the grand super cycle. Okay, the grand super cycle is still okay as long as this pivot holds at 38.24. I don't like this. This is really bad. The crossover in the monthly, and then you even have the monthly turning down. You know, just breaking this trend line, right on it, right on it. Right on it. So there's no room for error. If that breaks, this will break, and you should get a pretty good sell-off. And that would more likely take these peaks out, and that would probably be a grand super cycle correction. Now the weekly is bearish, so I don't like trading on the long side on Tesla until this weekly trend line breaks on the RSI that I have drawn right here, just like that. When you see that break, then it's time to buy the dips in Tesla. Until then, it's short. And that's what we've been doing. If you've been following me, we've been shorting it, and it paid off today, which is really good. Okay, sorry about that. So here you go. You got this on the daily. We're about to take this out. You got more size. So market probably is going to bounce soon, right? It should bounce, right? It's got this, gap. And again, there's all these gap traders. So all these gap traders are going to go long. And now it's going to be a trader's battleground for a little bit. But the easy money on the short side is over for a while. It's over for a while. Here was our short entry. We played it out. We saw this bounce come. And I said the way to play this is make this high has to take out. If it doesn't take out, it's just a two wave. And that's what played out. 1, 2, 1, 2, trend line, meltdown. Now, we're probably finishing this 3, and we got this 4s and 5s. And then what we'll probably do is do another big push and fill this gap, and we'll get an even bigger sell-off. That's how it's going to go. That's how it's going to go down, more than likely. I'll be surprised to get just more waterfall selling. That could happen if we break tomorrow, if we can break this pivot here at 210. If we break 210, a lot of stops will be fired off. That'll push it down even more. So then I would be looking for a potential, area at 192, 172 for a potential opportunity to try to play a long counter trend trade, which always has a lot of danger in a fallen market, especially in the wave in the final push lower. So this could be B. Now here's the thing. 3 waves up, but then here it should have ended, but it didn't. And now we have this 5th wave. Okay. But this really doesn't even look like 5 waves, right? See, it's like 3. This looks like 5. This looks like 5. So this looks like a 3-wave move of some kind, right? 3 waves. So again, I'm trying to get bigger picture here. And then you've got something else. So as you know, a connector wave can be a triangle. Here you have 3 waves. Usually really bullish instruments form connector waves as triangles. So I would expect a lot of chop. I wouldn't expect a straight down crash. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at for a triangle, but a big one. Like, let's kind of draw it out. Let's just kind of visualize what this could look like. Something like that. Down. So we'll get rid of this. Let's see if I can do this. And then down, something like that. Or even it may not even hit that level. Something, something like that, something big. It may even go further down. Actually, to get the right look, because this is so long, we'd want it to go further down. Something like this. Anyway, just be careful. This is gonna do something like this. This is what I think is gonna happen. But you're gonna have to try to guess what you think is gonna happen. That's why I don't like trading it now. The setup's lost. There's no trade other than taking profit. I would recommend taking profit after a day like this in Tesla, but yeah, if this little breaks, that should give you more downside. That should really give you some more downside. But then I'd definitely be looking to cover some positions, and then if you're brave enough, you could try to trade alongside for this eventual gap fill and bounce. And like I said, it's going to triangle. It's going to sideways out on a much higher degree, is my guess. It'd be really shocking if we just get follow through down. I just think that would be a surprise, and that would be a market meltdown scenario, which I'm not going to, I'm not going to say the grand super cycle crash is going to, I mean, it can happen. There's still a chance, but I think the better chance is a lot of chop, but eventually lower, lower, lower. Eventually we come down to these targets, but it takes time and energy to get there. But anyway. Alright guys, for you guys that just got on, the way I do this, super chats, if you're new, because I'm in a different time zone tonight doing them, if you give me a super chat, I go right to your question, I answer it. I'm only on for an hour. I'll answer a couple questions, a couple stocks you have, symbols. I'm not going to answer like 5 or 6. So the first 2 is what I see, I'll go to, and it's only fair to other people, and then I move on. If you want all yours answered, throw a super chat. I'll focus more on what you got, what you're asking. Okay, so let's keep going. QNT, I think that's a crypto, if I remember. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, QNT, what's it doing? Okay, bigger picture. We haven't updated this in a while. We had this still going on. We had more downside, and we're seeing that, right? Again, we had this short area up here. It played out. We're looking for that wave 3. It's coming when this neckline breaks. It's just slowly grinding lower. It's just the bears are in control of this coin, and really you're in this impulse, this big impulse, which is the money maker for the short side. And really you need, there's your line. So as long as you're behind that line, the bears are in control. I wouldn't even think about buying it on a buy the dip. This looks like a 1 2 3 4 5 for a 1 2, just like I have it labeled. And then we have another 1 2. Actually, it looks like a 1 2 3 4 5, another one. So you have these 1 2 1 2s, right? All these 1 2 1 2s I call it the crash formation. So it's in a crash formation, and it's ready to roll. It's ready to go to the downside. So just be careful if you're long, if you're short. Where could you cover? This, I don't think it's going to go down to $1. That's pretty, substantial, but yet the trap money is substantial. So I would say, looking at this pattern, just like if I'm going to pattern trade it, maybe we could try to find a more realistic target that isn't so catastrophic, like 54, 40, 54, 42, this area, somewhere here, there. But I wouldn't go long. Once you're below this neckline, I wouldn't be going long. I'd be looking at that downtrend line and have the market prove that it can break the downtrend that it's in right now. Okay, that's QNT, guys. Let's keep going. SPXS. Yeah, it's just playing out like we expect it, just like we expect it. And it's really funny because the market drop. Been saying it all week, how to play this thing and what the clues. There were a lot of clues we looked at to get to these conclusions, and a lot angry people yesterday with my updates saying we would go down, and what happened today, guys? We went down. I'm not sure why some people are angry. I actually lost followers. So I just said it happened. So this type of behavior, this type of anger from the community didn't happen when we were at the October lows and I was saying melt up. So at the October lows, I was saying melt up, melt up. I got death threats. I got the same sarcasm as every time we pulled back. But yet in the end, we kept going higher and higher. And now everyone was a genius calling the market melt up. But Elliott Wave Sage called the market melt up way before anyone else did. Very few traders were calling that in tech. Only mistake I made is took profits too early, but we got back in and got the tail end. So we got a lot of profit still. But the problem is people want to hear a narrative and then they get angry and they get mad. They don't follow me anymore. But then it actually happens. So it's like, why do you want to follow people that are having you lose money? Why do you want to follow people that are saying go long this, go long that, buy the dip that, when you have the weekly and daily cycles against you? This makes no sense. But that's what they're doing. But they would rather follow those people and lose money than hear what I got to say. So it's really interesting. A lot of anger, but I get it. I get mad too with losing money, but don't shoot the messenger. I am bullish. I do always buy the dip too, but it's not time to buy the dip. QQQ 335, SPY 380, 400. Time to buy the dip, guys. I'll be saying buy the dip, but none of you all will want to buy the dip. Trust me. When we're down there, no one's going to want to buy, and then I'll get the same anger for saying buy the dip. That's just what's going to happen. But you guys got to figure it out. So anyway, SPXS is bouncing here. We had this buy area. It's working out nicely, and here's the pattern. This is what I'm looking for. A pump, a pullback, and another pump. And hopefully by the time we're here, we're at SPY 400 or SPY 380. That's what we're looking for. The target, 1870, 1962, ultimately. We hit that. I wouldn't be a greedy bastard. I mean, you got to take profit at that point. Now, I always call this the spike target. I've traded SPXS, all these things, these triple bears for, 7-8 years. Anytime we get a capitulation spike, it always comes back to test this line that I have drawn here. I could do this time and time again. So that capitulation wick would hit, let's say $20 bucks, 21, $20. So if we really get a real nasty panic, you could see it wick. If you see it wick into this area around this trend line, I'd be hitting, market sell. So, I'd dump it because it almost always rejects on these lines. Now I've never seen it, crash up through that. That would be a first. But if you can see, it's actually correlated with major resistance. So it's actually perfect technically to sell. So this is a more practical area to sell it. This would be, if you're day trading and you're watching it, you can try to time it if you can get in this area. But I don't think it'll be a straight line. I think it's got to see how this played out. That's what I'm saying. Buy the dip. That's why I'm saying it could buy the dip at some point, and we may, and maybe we need to do that a little bit sooner. Maybe that's at 410, and then we come back, and then we hit that 380. Maybe this is more like 410. So whatever it is, I don't know, but I won't buy the dip here. I'll buy the dip in the market when we're here. This isn't a place to buy dip. This is a place to try to take profits on shorts and not be too greedy. And then this is another reload opportunity for shorts. And then this is a sell, take profit, and then look for long positions in the market, like SPXL or something else. But this is what I'm looking for. Do what's best for you. I can be wrong, and I have been many times before. All right, let's go to Grayson. SLDP, I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head. That's the first one. We haven't charted that before on my live stream, and it doesn't look good. If you're short, you're excited right now. Although I wouldn't get too excited because this looks like an impulse that's ending a wave 5. So the easy money's over on the short side. So if you're short still, you're don't be again a greedy bastard. You're gonna be sad because this looks like to be just a nice 5-wave move down that needs a counter trend rally back up to $4 at least. And you see there's your bullish divergence on the weekly, right? Monthly is too little data. The daily, you have bullish divergence. Now you're in a wave 5, the daily. Now, if we take this out, then you're in a wave 3 on the daily, and that means it could still extend lower. So, and if you look, it's really just 1, 2. Looks like you are in wave 3 on the daily. Let's take a look here, what we have. So if I look at the daily cycle, it really broke here. So this is going to probably do some kind of flat correction because this connector is way too small to correct this entire cycle unless this thing is going to zero, it's going bankrupt. And the way what I would look for if that's going to happen is if the daily were to push through and take out this peak. If this daily takes out that peak, the stock's going to zero, and I wouldn't touch it. And in short, then maybe you just can hold it, but still, it's not much. So I think right now it's set up for a flat correction that's gonna really cause a lot of headaches for traders, which flats do. But something like this, and then either that's a really shallow connector, or you have this A, you have this B that will finish, and then you'll get this C push up to correct the move, the real correction, and then everybody's gonna be blown up on the short side, only to have it go back lower later, which it will do now that you broke this low. So where could this B wave end? That's always the tricky question. Let's take a look. If you want to play the lottery, 151, right? 151. So if you had a lottery ticket, you want to throw $100 in the lottery, you may get 400 4-bagger out of this thing. Fill this gap here, but I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't expect new highs. I think once this hits this wave 4 peak around this area, that's it. So this is how I trade it. So this is setting up a trap for shorts right here. I think this is a trap. This is a trap for the short side. I think that's what's happening. But you do what's best for you. Good luck. It would be nice to see, and yeah, see the daily divergence erase. So yeah, the trap could be sprung at any moment. This C leg can be sprung at any moment. Okay, we'll go to your next one, ALB. Albemarle. Yeah, I think I've got this one charted already. And it looks like it fell through our support area. So we had this as a bounce area in a 3-wave move. Or actually it was right here, and it failed. And then it's still failing. So it's a bigger cycle correction, a higher degree. So the bounces were tradable. And that's the thing. When you do bounce, you have to take some profit and have a stop at the point where it bounced. So this is a nice, beautiful top that just broke, right? I mean, the fun is just getting started to the downside. I don't know. I guess these guys are like some kind of commodity cyclical. And I mean, it makes sense. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like a grand super cycle peak of some kind. Let's see here. Well, that's the 1, 2. Yeah, it's over. All right, so it's correcting the grand super cycle from the beginning of the company's founding, which looks like when it goes back a long way. So you hit the wave 4 target, which is typically a good sign, but it doesn't look like it's done from a sequence standpoint. So then, the target, this correction's an easier one. to try to time a buy. 86.62, 48.40. So this is it. This is where I would expect it to bounce, and then it should be a pretty good buy. And as you can see, there's a historical trend line. It's going back to test it at some point, and then hopefully, like it's had here and here, a little bit here, it'll be supported for a new cycle higher. But until then, it's you know, down you go. See, you had the back test and the rejection. So this should have some waterfall sell-off coming, some really nice selling. So if you're a momentum trader, it's time to sell. But I would wait for a little bounce, intraday rips to short those. But it's pretty much short as will, as long as you're below 179. If you could get intraday rips like we were getting today in the indices, you get some kind of crazy pump, you know, get some pump back up to 157. So these are just short opportunities. You know, so it's just kind of like that. It's breakdown. See, it's over. It's a W, X, and here we are. All right, so that's ALB. All right, so I've got some super chats. I'm just going to jump to those. I think SSBG was first. Oh, thank you. Hey, thanks for the 10, man. Let me see if you have a question or anything you want me to ask you. I'll look through my chat. But yeah, hey, thanks for the 10. I appreciate it. I'm glad we crossed paths too. Okay, yeah, so Mark V. Let's go through some of these. BOC, NNI. Okay. BOC. You want this on the ASX? Love on the ASX. Do you want BOC on the AXS? If you could just put in the comments, that's what you want. Just let me know if you want that BO, because I mean, I don't know what the hell BOC is. I mean, I don't trade BOC. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why, you know, if you know you want BOC on the NYC. Okay. All right. NYC. All right, here we go. It's one we haven't charted before. And okay, so this is an interesting pattern. It looks like, again, not enough chart data to really do a good job with it, with the RSIs. So I'm losing a big tool that I usually have to analyze charts because there's just not good enough data, but I'll look at it. It looks like to me something like this. And then you're pulling back, and there's your connector. And actually, that's your connector right here. That's your connector. So 3, and there's a shallow connector. Now you're pulling back in another 3. So that won't work. So it's in a buy area right now. We need to look at some of the other indicators first. So it's a buy above $12.20. If that breaks, then it could have a lot more downside, and then this pattern's negate it. This actually makes sense. It's between the 4 and the 2, somewhere in this area, in an impulse and a 1 and a 2 wave. Now you see this substantial bounce in this connector. You had a little bit of a bounce here, so you have, I think, the right sequence here. We need to see divergence being erased. And again, the RSI, we don't have enough data. It's close on the weekly, but not quite like I like it. Of course, the monthly looks okay, but that's not enough data. So it would be ideal to get the weekly to be a little more oversold, a little more capitulation. But it seems pretty close to having found a low of some kind. So you'll have to do what's best for you. It's in a buy area, and once this downtrend line breaks, this kind of will be confirmation that the correction's over. What does this company do? insurance. Oh, a billboard advertisement. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Not sure. Not sure what to think. But yeah, if it stops out at 1220, it's going a lot lower, and it could even be a go to zero stock. NNI. All right, so this one's in a bull trend. So there's your 1, 2, there's your 3, 4, there's your 5, and then the cycle 1. So there's your 1, 2 right there. Three is here. 4 is here. And you can see 5 is done. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We made a marginal high. All right, so this stock should retrace just like the other one. Should come back to 69.68. It looks like it's correcting the whole grand super cycle, like many things are across the entire stock market. It looks like this one just get it started. You can see the monthly is broke lower, so it's in secular decline now until that trend line breaks on the monthly. Until then, the bears are in control of this market. Let's look at the weekly. Same thing with the weekly. Bears are in control, and you'd like to see this weekly take out this peak, which I believe will happen. And you want the monthly to take out this peak. So this correction needs time to play out. But sometimes we get straight down crash corrections. It happens. So I don't know how it's going to play out. It could be a three-way bounce. It could be a crash correction. It could be a flat. But it seems like to me the best days of this stock are over as long as it's below 102.53. So down. All right, so the next one is LOV on the you said on the Australia exchange. Let's take a look here. So it has a massive cycle, another one, and another one. But as you can see, you see the lower highs. I'm sorry, the higher lows, and the peaks aren't exceeding this peak. So this is called this is a very bullish setup in this for now, but that can erase at any moment. But I'm going to label the chart as it is today. But just keep in mind, this setup can erase in a blink of an eye. That's why you have to watch these things every day. So this is probably some kind of flat that's going to finish, and then you'll get a wave 3. So this could have a 3-3 breakout moment where this RSI is going to take out this peak on the weekly time frame, on the monthly time frame, this peak, but not quite yet. It just it seems like 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 5. You know, we need to stay above 1230, but it looks like it's got more downside still. Yeah, the 1674 to 1474. So if you're brave and you want to try to play this is the area to buy it, and you'll have to do what's best for you, because there is a possibility it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if it is, it will break that. You will stop out, and more than likely it could be a 5, a bounce, and then a zigzag. So tough to say, but the RSI is giving me a clue that perhaps it's setting up a trap for the bears here. And what does this thing do? Jewelry and accessories retail. Not sure why it would moon like that. But maybe it has jewelry. Maybe gold is going to be so expensive soon. They'll be like, printing money, their own money. Maybe people will be running in there because That's what everyone's going to want. I don't know. Who the hell knows? But I think this is the way I would label it for now. But this is a high risk, high reward trade on the long side right here. All right, thanks for the 10, man. Let's go to Meta Menace DHT. Thanks, I appreciate you too. DHT. Yeah, I don't know. We've never done this one either. Got some new symbols tonight. So this is a typical bottom formation. I love this pattern, right? Now, a lot of traders hate it, but I love it because it shows it hasn't pumped and it's breaking out, right? On a major time frame. I mean, look at that. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I don't even need to do any more charting. I could just tell you, go long and sit tight. Like don't even worry, because once you get through that 1364 resistance, there's no resistance until $45. So unless I'm missing some time frame, and I'm not, so I don't know why it's doing what it's doing, but we'll take a look closer at the internals of the wave and see if it's tricking, if it's a trap. So that's the low. I mean, it looks like to me, again, you got 5 up and a corrective move here. Yeah, I mean, this looks like an impulse. This is a completed impulse. The tricky part is you're in a two wave. You're in a two wave. So what most traders will do is they'll just market buy here because they're breaking out. But what the market loves to do is play poker, and they do a flat and it pulls back in two. You get a false breakout. Everyone stops out. They give up. They go, oh, this was a setup, and they forget it, and then it breaks out later. That is usually how this thing goes down. But there's no guarantee. So what would I be looking for is something. If it turns into if it could break this high at 1230, then it may be ready to go. But you gotta be careful for this too. Down to 637, but I would definitely want to buy this in this area, because this is for strong hands, long-term holds. Something's going on. There's accumulation, breakout. Even if it fails back, it will come back later. People will forget about it. So this is the most likely setup that I see. But you'll have to do what's best for you. If it can still push higher and take this high out, then the next area of resistance is $16, and then it should pull back there to allow people to get back in on the long side before you get the real massive breakout. It should pull back right around here. If it does, and then it could become like a 1-2, 1-2, and I'd be looking to buy that for sure. I don't want to buy that here because I've seen these traps way too many times. These traps. So this is 3. Yeah, I'd be really careful that this is another trap. See, no divergence there. So, but that's how I'd look at this. Something like that. But do what's best for you. What do these guys do? Oh, oil. Fleet of oil tankers. Oil storage. Okay. Well, yeah, that's good. I'm going to add that to my commodity section. I don't like commodities right now, but I think it's play with oil, right? If oil is going to break that high, then this is going to go up, right? If oil's going to 130, this is going higher. This will not pull back like I have it. So I think it's about oil. I think it's about oil, right? And what this is going to do here with this chart. I said if we take this peak out, it opens up the X wave for targets up near 120 and 130 a barrel, and that will propel that stock higher, more than likely, as it trades with the sector. Now, if it's not, if this X is set, and again, I don't like trading oil, but if this is a 1-2, then it's going to the $6 target like I had. And this will retrace in some kind of capitulation move. But it doesn't, given all the news out in the fundamental, I mean, it doesn't seem likely, right? It seems very unlikely. And if you really look, it looks like an inverse head and shoulders pattern forming for a breakout to 128, 132. So I'm leaning toward oil doing that more than it won't. And if that's the case, I think got to be careful hoping for this 637. I think this could pull back more, but if you think oil is going to do that, then I think this will easily run to 16, 17, or even higher. So this is a coin flip, and this is going to be based on what you think oil's going to do as a personal decision you'll have to make. But thanks for the super chat, man. Okay, Anonymous, thanks for the 5. Mara, yeah, I got my eye on Mara, man. It's like to me, Mara's like devil's fruit right now. I want to buy it, but I'm not ready to say Bitcoin is at a bottom to allow me to pull the trigger on it. But I mean, we've had this target, right, since the start of the correction, and we hit it, and we've stayed support it, and I could talk myself into 5 waves off this low. And yeah, maybe it could go down to like 753 tomorrow, but I could talk myself into it, right? But I just don't like it right now. Now, it's forming a new connector, right? This is a connector for this move, but we have nothing to show for it. Really, the price hasn't really done much. That's hidden bearish divergence, guys. That's what they call hidden bearish divergence. So there's hidden bearish divergence in this pattern that I have to recognize. So I'm not going to buy it, although my system would say to do it, but I don't like the correlation with the market. I don't like what I think Bitcoin's going to do. I don't like the hidden bearish divergence. So therefore, I'll wait and see if I can roll the dice and get lucky and get it down here. And then pick it up here. So I don't really have a good answer on Mara, unfortunately, but I am leading bearish, and perhaps it's an A, B, C kind of flat connector. I don't know, but I am leaning bearish, and I think it is going to come back to retest this low, and if this low breaks, then this was a big connector with an end in flat and an A, B, C. And then it's unfortunately, like I've said before, go to 0. So that would be a Bitcoin collapse to get that to happen. But we were the first to buy it here. Again, when people were giving me the death threats and all that shit, and it played out nice. And now we got out of it here. Didn't get this pump, but now we still got back in a lower price. Now, I like to get it. Like I said, I'd like to buy it here, but I just think everything tells me this here is where to buy it. And this is shallow, so I wouldn't be surprised even if we do another little pump. But we'll see how it plays out. CLSK. Let's take a look at what we got there. And I don't have that. I thought we have done that for you before. I've done that. All right, so it looks like that 5 ended here. We showed the wedge, right? Remember showing that wedge, and we got out. We broke out. Now we've retraced enough, but this looks like 5 up to me. With let's see, with enough divergence, or maybe not. You see that peak? Okay, so there's no divergence. So this is a corrective bounce. So I don't like the long side on it for sure. And it hit the sell area. So I definitely this was a short area for that corrective move. So I would be really careful. It's not impulsing in a 1-2, 1-2 like a lot of the market is right now. 1-2, 1-2, and if we take this low out at 171, it could turn into a go to 0, because it more than likely will break $1, and then that should be it. It'll be either go to 0, reverse split, that type of thing. So to me, this corrective move is over. The bears are in control. The right move to be will be to short this on pops, as long as you're below that line. And the ideal short entry would be another tag of that line if it happens, but I don't think it's going to. I think it's ready to roll to the downside, just like the market is ready to open up. Look watch for that to break. Anyway, that's CLSK. All right, thanks again for the super chat, guys. I've got about 10 more minutes. I'll just try to pick up where I left off. And again, if I don't get to your question, super chat will do it. All right, I answered Mara and SYM. Yeah, SYM's on my shopping list, but it's not on my shopping list right here. I just don't like I don't like it. Again, it's too bullish, and you don't have that right capitulation. So here was a connector, and that connector projected a target of 15, and of course the market was just too excited to buy it. So unless we got some nice capitulation, we're not going to see that bottom. So let's take a look. So this daily did diverge here. Did not diverge. So that's interesting, right? It didn't diverge. So you have 3 swings. So theoretically, it's bullish against 29.91. So now you got to look at the internals of this wave up. You have 5 waves up, it looks like. No divergence on the daily. Let's look at the 4-hour. You just have a little bit. You could say it's an impulse here. We don't have divergence here. What I worry about is this is a connector wave in its entirety. So the way I label it is something like this. Sorry, not like that. Like that. You have A, B, C. And that to me would be a better correction because you're correcting the whole thing from the beginning. So I like this. So I'm looking for that. I don't want to chase this. I'm not chasing this. I'm not going to chase it. Yes, I want to buy it, but I don't want to chase that. So we could see 2606, 1942. The other possibility, this would be a little more severe correction, 1377, right down here. So it's going to be tough to time it. We'll have to use more traditional ways like, horizontal support and resistance, that type of thing. So here's a horizontal, it's right about here, roughly, and then here's the next big major. This is a lot of so 1812. So this would be a really good area to target right here. 1812, something like that. So that's what I'm looking for, something like that. I'm not going to FOMO in. And again, this could, because I think no matter what happens with this B wave, I think it's just going to flat out and it's going to drop. I'll get another chance to get in because I don't like this bottom. If it did do something like this, it's extremely bullish, and I just don't plan for that in this situation. This is so rare to have such a truncation and be something so bullish. So just when's the earnings coming out? The 20th of November. We'll see where we are with earnings. But yeah, this is one that I definitely want to get in. I did not get in on this. It was not on my radar until we were way up here, and I was just some trading. But I want a longer term position on it. I do want this, given what they do. This would be a good area. I probably would even just start buying it here. So I don't know. You're just gonna have to wait for it. I'm gonna be patient. I'm not gonna chase it here right now. Okay, so Alex for $2, WNDW. All right, let's take a look at that real quick. NDW. Solar window. Yeah, I thought that symbol looked familiar. Well, we called the bottom. And sure enough, we got the pump. I don't know. I hope you made a lot of money on this. I can't imagine. I don't know. Whoever asked me for this, I think I remember having this conversation when we were like, oh, this is what accumulation. So if you guys ever play in penny stocks, this is just people market buying it to accumulate for this. But now that this happened, the easy money's over. But the chances are, it typically you'll have at least one more wave up to really mess with the shorts. And I think that's what's about to happen here. So I think you got another wave up at least. Like 240, 280, something like that, somewhere in this area. And then it's a really tough call, like what because then you're going to hit this wave 4, which is really what you're correcting that entire impulse, which is really the target, somewhere here. So, bigger picture, I won't even try to label it. We just, I just think, yeah, maybe you could short it here, but this stuff's high risk, high reward. This setup was rare. We got it. And now it's got to play out. But I do think it's got another pump. I don't think it's going to fade back. I think it's got one more pump left in it. As long as it's above this low, 71 cents. Okay. Got a few more minutes here. Yeah, I'm not in Arizona right now. I wish I was. I would have. Maybe I'll be back. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to be back in Arizona. I missed it. It sucks. Yeah, I know. But it's what it is. Nat gas. I gave a nat gas update on my video earlier. For the sake of time, I'm looking for another leg lower on Boyle. I mentioned this in my video earlier. Want to see Boyle at 56, 54, somewhere in this area. That's the setup I'm looking for. This little bounce was just a little play here. And then I was looking for this bigger bounce. Now it's a better, it's a safer entry for me on Boyle. This was risky, and it's the risk obviously, so this wherever natural gas is when Boyle's here, I would be like, looking for that. Now the symbol itself, again, this was a potential 3-wave move here, and again it failed in this connector, so now it's going back down. Here, so natural gas is a tough thing to trade, man. It is like one of the hardest ones to trade because it's so violent, the moves. So probably gonna fill that gap, right? Whatever, I don't know if it's on the daily or what, but somewhere like there, that's where it's heading. Get that, but that's a great dip buy. That's a great entry to play it alongside. But again, it can be wrong because this could be a massive trap for bears and a 3-wave corrective move. But that's going to bring natural gas to like below $1. And I just don't see that happening in this environment unless we're about to have like massive nuclear war break out everywhere and there'll be no power. No one's going to, have electricity anymore. I mean, I don't understand. Like to me, it's too low. This is 5 up. I mean, even though I could try to force 3, I think it's 5. This is a lot. Look at all this support. So this would be perfect. 1, 2, and then 3. That's why I want Boyle here, if I can get it. All right. So let's take a look at what we've got going on after nat gas. GE and I haven't had anyone ask the GE in a long time. Yeah, doing it on the East Coast time zone, I get different questions. Because different people join that normally do. It actually made it to our sell area, which is amazing. I hadn't looked at this in a long time. I wouldn't worry about these swings, but we had this area at 117. Looks like it hit it exactly. So I'm not going to change my forecast. I'm just going to leave it. So that should do it. It's a 3-wave move, bigger picture. 3. A connector, right? A connector, and then one more C leg. But there's not a lot of room left. But that low is probably going to break. So I don't know if it's got a lot of debt or whatever. I don't know what's going on in GE, but maybe interest rates are going to really screw it up. What would negate this view is a push higher again. Yeah, we need to break this high. If we could come back and break 117 or 118, then this view is negated, and I have to redo the chart. and then it's in a bull it's in bull mode. I have to redo the chart, and it would be very bullish actually. But I wouldn't chase it because it would be a 1, 2, actually be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it would still pull back anyway. So I wouldn't chase it if it did break. But right now it's corrective. So, and honestly, I wouldn't even trade this. Looking at what I'm seeing now, let's look at ISRG. Now that's a nice stock that everybody has loved for many years because it's been really good until recently. ISRG doesn't get any love because people need to borrow money to buy their equipment and need loans and stuff, and that's a high interest rate. So I've had this pattern for a long time, and I need to change my target because B is different. Let me see where the target should be. Like 169, somewhere here. So it's a grand supercycle correction. Wave 4 low, which is a typical target. It's got more downside. And as you can see, it's ready to enter a 3 of 3 moment to the downside, like a lot of stocks are. And broke. See, it broke. So, yeah, I guess you could call that a massive bear flag. I don't know. Probably not a good looking one. Maybe that's not a good way to say it. There's a historical trend line right around there. See, confluence of support. That's where I'd like it. So you gotta be patient. So it's just, I know it's sad if you're long. No one wants to see a chart looks like this, but it's just kind of what I'm thinking. Because you don't have really any divergence here. You don't have really an impulse. It's just a triple. It looks like it's some kind of triple, or what's no? Actually, it's a WXY. There's the low right there. And the reason we saw an unorthodox bottom, it's a 5-wave move down of some kind, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's an ABC. It's ABC. Do what's best for you, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. Okay, let's take a look. I'll just kind of scan through and see if I can comment. I can't get to all the other questions. Yeah, Paul did do that. Paul's comments, man, today, you can tell he's sweating his thing. He knows he effed up. He knows he effed up the COVID lows. He like just like a trader, panicked and went all in with his stack and regrets it. It's too late. The cat's out of the bag. The money's all in the system, and so did the government, and they're trying to take it out, but the damage has been done. I don't think you can unring the bell, and I think we're going to have to pay the price for all that money sloshing around and the inflation and rates now, and now the government's being punished for spending money. Rates are going higher. So you could see what the crisis is going to emerge. And Powell can't really cut the long end of the rates. All he can do is do QE, buy the long end down, wash the money out through some back door, some short end, or some other method. But that's just imagine if the long end starts dropping, Howson's gonna moon. I mean, everyone's gonna, interest rates drive home values like you can't believe. And so if they're staying supported at 8%, 30-year, if he starts buying the long end down and those rates fall, well, I mean, no one's going to be, housing's going to go through a wave 3 of 3 moment. So he can't do that, but he can if he needs to save the government. I mean, he probably will. But when that news ever drops and he announces some kind of QE, then we need to look at the market in terms of hyperinflation and not this kind of bear. We have to look more bullish and more bullish counts, even though that doesn't imply the company's going to be doing well. It's just because it's asset price inflation we need to start planning for. But right now, he's in a bind, man. He's in a bind, and this is going to play out. The end game is here, and he's really stuck. They really trapped themselves, and they put him in a corner. And then of course the inflation stop loss. Just like a trader, inflation was running hot. He should have raised rates. But just like a trader losing money, they lowered their stop loss. You lower your stop loss, right? That's what an amateur trader does. You lower, oh, it's going to bounce. I know it. And that's what he was doing with inflation. Oh, it's going to come down. It's transitory. No, no, no. It's gonna, you got to be like a robotic, and you have to have a system in place. And what that tells me, the Fed has no risk management. There's no one there, managing risk of the people making the decisions that are so significant to the world economy. So that tells me that's what needs to change in the Fed for the next generation. They need risk management. They need someone there tapping on their shoulder going, hey, we're not lowering your stop loss. Dude, inflation's over your target. You need to raise rates. And the system says, F it, you're going to do it. And there's no like, oh, it's just transient, because you just talked yourself. And that's just human nature. He fell into a common trap that human nature falls into. And ask anybody probably on my chat right now. We've all done it. We've all got rid of our stop loss or lowered it because we just know it can't go any lower. It's going to bounce. Like the perfect one is pod, right? And you're just like, damn, but you know what? I had to stop out because now look at it. Things that hit like 125, but you just don't know. You just don't know how low something could go. And he screwed up with inflation. He removed his inflation stop loss, and he learned the hard way and got burned. And now he's going to pay the price, and we're all going to pay the price, I think. NVIDIA's in my market update. I won't cover that. I think Berkshire halfway is in a wave 5 peak, grand super cycle top. That was one we actually called the new time high on this, I think. Or I think I had a chart. It's been a while since I looked at this. Berkshire halfway, if I can even find it. Here, let's look at BRB. Yeah, see, I had this fifth wave. So I was looking for a double correction. It didn't happen. And like I said, it's been a while since anyone's asked me about it. So we got this fifth wave. We did get this fifth wave. I was expecting this. We got it. But if you actually look at the fifth wave, it actually looks like it needs another high. So I'll just say, he's got a lot of energy in this thing, right? A lot of energy stocks and shit. So that may keep him going for a little bit longer, as if oil's gonna moon. Pod is one. I'm waiting for better market conditions, but it's on my list. The one thing, there's a lot of techniques looking at stocks to find bottoms. And back when Warren Buffett was trading, he traded, coming into the 50s, the 70s, bear market. And those fundamental guys, you got to respect them because they obviously knew what they were doing. He knew what he was doing. He's worth billions of dollars. He's not really a technical trader, right? He's fundamental. And so what do those guys do? They use valuations, PE ratios, that type of thing. So when all else fails in a bear market and this is a straight down crash correction. Okay, this is a straight down crash correction. So there's really no way to know what the right level is for this stock anymore, especially if we broke the uptrend line. So I think this is where you got to go back to just kind of a fundamental look at it and go, what's its valuation? What's its PE ratio, right? We know rates are going higher, so the PE ratio is going to fall, right, to a point where eventually it's just too low and it's supported, and then investors like a Warren Buffett come in and buy it, and then that's the end of the correction versus using a technical. So the PE ratio of pod, I mean, I'm just going to Google it here. Right now, it says the forward PE ratio is 74. That's still too high for me. I'm not going to buy a straight down crash correction like this at 74. I need this down to be near 34 or 30. So I wrote some other targets. I think this wave 5 is going to extend. In fact, this could even be another, my God, 1-2, right? 1-2, 1-2. I don't like this trade right now, given the market conditions that I know the indexes, technology should be going lower. That should bring this down. I don't like the downtrend line breaking. I don't like the back test here, which can set up for a waterfall sell-off. I don't like the valuation. At the moment, I don't have a 3-wave move I can trade here. That's why I'm looking at the valuation. Normally, I don't care a shit about valuation, but here I do because I have nothing else I have no other reference point. There's no 3-wave. There's nothing I could do. If I go in and buy it, I'm just kind of gambling with my money a little bit because, it's just too big. See, this box is just so big, right? So for me, I want to wait, and when the market conditions change a little bit more favorable to me, I like to go in on it. But I think you got to be careful, uh, with it at the moment, because if tech and rates are still going higher, if tech's going lower, rates are going higher, this valuation should still get squeezed more. So I have another box within a box, and I'll take another look at it when it's down here. And I'm just, I'm very cautious, and that's how I've stayed in this game so long. Even though it could come up, and I could have missed, I may miss a move, and if I missed a move, I'll look for a pullback and go long. So be it, and it may be safer. But that's how I look at this pod right now. And you'll have to do what's best for you on it, but I just think it's got more downside given everything I just said. Let's take a look here. I wouldn't short Nvidia in the hole. You never. So this is the guys. I wouldn't short in the hole. I know that's not my technique. I don't short. I don't momentum trade. I short. I wait for a rip. Like it's this whole thing: buy low, sell high. I do that, right? But momentum traders don't. They follow the trade. Now look at this. This move looks like it's 5 waves, right? This is going to flat out on people. This is what I think the short-term Stokes are going to do. Watch my daily video to get more information on what I'm talking about. But this is you watch. Then you got to short. If this happens, if this can happen, like I have here, to 438, you got to short here. Ideally, you can make it even higher, 447. This because this would be just another 1-2. This is so this if I was so like I need to short Nvidia now, I would be waiting for this move. But you're like, what if it just gaps down and goes to 320 and I miss it? Well, you miss it because you should have shorted it back here, and then you have no risk, right? You have no risk. Then it could do whatever the hell it wants to do here. You could care less. You're here. So like I said, this is a 1, this is a 2, right? It could be this, and we have a waterfall, free fall, sell off tomorrow. Or it could be the trap, this, which I kind of keep this an open mind. So that's how I look at Nvidia. Netflix, I gave my updates on Netflix on my daily stream. You can watch that. Yeah, I know. It's really weird, people flipping out, right? It's really crazy, flipping out. I don't understand why people get so mad about. I mean, I have been wrong at times, right? I have been wrong about a couple things here and there, but I mean, I try to just use like a lot of the evidence and then make a forecast, right? I just use all the evidence available and make a forecast, right? The Nasdaq, we're just following this downtrend line. I mean, this is like what you trade. If you're in like middle school or high school, this is how you teach people how to trade, right? I don't even need all that technical, the cloud and are we above the moving average? I don't even give a shit. I could just draw a trend line and go, okay, short every time you hit the trend line. And until you break it, the bears are in charge. I mean, it's that simple. Like it's not hard, but people were like, oh, you're crazy and it's stupid. Like, I don't know why that's not stupid. I don't understand why that would be stupid. But I wasn't short in here and here and here, right? I would wait. Oh, here and here and here. Just waiting. I was waiting. And today I was like, what the hell was this going on? And so I was just laughing my ass off. And I was like, okay, if it doesn't reject here, then we just have an impulse and it's just going to come back up to this resistance here. And I'll just add more here. So it's just like all these games, but we'll see how it plays out. Next couple of days will be interesting. Wayfair's in a buy area. Wayfair's in a buy area, but I'm not telling you to go buy it. But Netflix was in a buy area, and look what happened to Netflix. So if you wanna, you got to risk it to get it, sometimes. But It's there. It's where it's in the area. Uh, does it have earnings? When's earnings? The 1st of November. Yeah, I think you got to see this cluster again, this horizontal resist right there at 37. That'd be a nice. I think I'd take a speculative long here at 37 on Wayfair. I think I'd take that. It's risky. Don't follow me in the trade because I can be wrong, right? In to negate it, we'd have to break this low 29 to negate it, and then it's game over for Wayfair. But if this holds, you got this 1-2-1-2 setup. If we get this 1-2-1-2 setup, this could be a massive opportunity. And Wayfair's bullish. Wayfair, people like this one. This made a lot of money for me. This little pump here. We were long. I was long this back here, right? We had this buy area, and I bought the pullback. Pretty much rode it all the way up to this breakout, and then I dumped it. So now I want to get back in on this. So yeah, I mean Wayfair, I don't like it here again. Market conditions don't favor it. There's really no catalyst. Maybe on Amazon's earnings it could pump if Amazon does well. I don't know, but I don't know. I think for me, I'd wait to get back down to here, and then look to speculative long position. Could get could see it happening. So it's on that's why it's on my shopping list. This is blue. It's on my shopping list. I'll watch it, but like Netflix, the right news hits, it could be back up to $66 before you realize it. My Twitter handle is Elliott Wave Sage, one word. You'll see me on there. Check the video again. Sometimes people play it and there's no audio. But I will double check it. If it has no audio, I'll redo it. It has happened before. I can't say it's not the first time that's happened. I'm in a new system. I'm not in my normal place today. So, all right, time to get off the live stream. I hope you liked it. Good luck trading tomorrow. We'll see what the day brings. Good luck.